Good evening, everyone. My name's Karen DeVita. I am president of Biotics Research Canada, just admitting some people in here. So we'll just keep moving forward. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining my webinar. I know everybody's time is very, very thin. We're all working on thin time frames right now. It's pretty crazy. But anyways, thanks for joining. I really appreciate your time and your effort in doing so. So a couple of housekeeping items. I wanted to let everybody know, and I know that I did send out a webinar, an email on this. We are updating both our websites, Biotics and DeVitavite. We're going on to WordPress and WooCommerce, so that I'm very excited about this because it'll give me an opportunity to be more creative on my website. So I'm very excited about that. Also, this meeting is being recorded. Oh, just let me admit a few more people here. Welcome, everybody. This meeting is being recorded. So you'll get a copy of the recording once we're finished. It will also be posted on my website. I'm trying to work it through to put it on a YouTube video. I'm not quite sure how to do that because PJ's always done that for me, but he's often practicing. He's doing workout in BC, so it'll end up on our website probably as an MP4. And I just want to ask everybody to please mute because I can hear some background noise. I'm just going to it's John. There we go. Okay. So I did want to let you know also, which we will do a quick review on. Sorry, I'm just still admitting people. We have over 100 people that they registered for this site for this webinar. So it might take me a few minutes just to get through everybody logging on. So a couple of things, updates. I just created 2 new protocols because Simi asked me to create an actual irritable bowel syndrome protocol. So I did that. It's on our website. I will show you where that is in a few secs. And also I created, after much discussion with many different people and a lot of hours on the weekend, created a Parkinson's protocol as well. So I'm going to go through both those protocols with you. I know that this particular webinar is designed to talk about some rogue products, and yes, we are going to do that as well. But I do want to show you those 2 protocols. I also want to get everybody's opinion. If you would do me a favor and just put it in the chat group, because I was talking to a manufacturer today about our seal oils, and we do have our Neuro Revive seal oil on the DeVitavite side of things, and it is in a liquid form. It looks like this. This is our liquid. But we're looking into encapsulating in 500 milligram little pearls, and they're very simple and easy to take. And there's no smell, no taste. They're just fantastic. I mean, even the oil is that way as well. There's just a little bit of a lemon flavor that's been added to it, and some vitamin E, and that's the only thing. But a lot of people prefer things in like, you know, little capsules and so on. So these are in the little pearls, and you can see right through them. And we're looking at that. So if you would just put in the chat group for me, if you're interested in having our Neuro Revive in that format. They're very tiny, tiny, tiny little pearls. They're kind of like the evening primrose pearls, very small. So they're very easy to take. So just let me know your thoughts and opinion on that, because I always want to get everybody's opinion before I move forward and do things. That's how we roll. Okay, so I am going to share my screen. I'm just still admitting people into the webinar, but I am going to share my screen here. Just let me find that, share. So here we are. And again, I'm just going to keep admitting people as we move forward. So I'm assuming everybody can see my screen. If you can't see the screen, just let me know. Just unmute yourself and let me know so that I don't go on about nothing. Anyway, so yeah, so here we are. A couple of things. I want to show you the protocol. So I've noticed also that there's quite a few practitioners that are joining this webinar, and they're maybe fairly a little bit new to Biotics products. So I'm going to do a quick little rundown on the website.
Like, oh my
Can
God.
you please just do me a favor and mute yourself? I'd really appreciate it if you mute so there's no background sound. Thank you.
What's going on? Why is this not playing?
Okay, so somebody's not muted. I'm going to just do that. So for practitioners that are new, you need to absolutely make sure that you log in and register. So here's your login. So you can log in or sign in. It's the same thing. If you haven't, then obviously you wouldn't be on the site if you hadn't, but there's your register button there if you haven't already signed in. So when you do sign in, your username is your email address. Of course, your password is what you set it to be. What you're going to see, that you won't see when you're not signed in, is clinicians' resources. So this is a super, super important area for everybody to pay attention to and to live in as much as possible, just because all of our Biotics webinars are here. So if you click on that, you can see all the past webinars that we've done. And there's quite a few of them, and we just keep adding every time we do one. So that's super important. But also the protocols are here. The updated price list, whenever we get any sort of update or change in anything, especially some of the products, we might be doing an ingredient change or something like that. Everything is listed from a price standpoint, but everything is also, every single product is also priced on an individual page as well. But the protocols are super, super important. And I just updated all of these protocols, by the way, last week. So they're all, when I say that I've updated them, there was some that I didn't really like, maybe the way that they were situated on the page. So, I changed some of the fonts and did that sort of thing. If there was any products on there that we've lost for whatever reason, then I've, substituted them out for another product, that type of thing. So they're just all updated. So I just wanted you to see that. And the IBS protocol, they're all in alphabetical order. So irritable bowel syndrome, or IBS protocol, is here, and this is an update to that one. Again, like my old one had some products in there that we don't have anymore, but they've been replaced with new products. For example, GI Resolve was replaced by IPS, that type of thing. So this is the new protocol. Just so that you know, I'm working on about 10 or 12 products. Some of them have ingredient changes, with Health Canada, and then we have a lot of new products that Biotics has announced. Unfortunately, they don't give me a lot of time to make applications. So, but they all are any ones that we can do in Canada. I have made applications for. So there's about 6 or 7 or 8 of them coming down the pipe. Now, Butyric CalMag is a product that we've had for many, many years, but we've always had a problem with the butyrate, the butyric acid. So the way it's just the ingredient listing in itself. But I think we're through that and out the other end. So we have made an application for our butyric acid, which again is a Biotics product that's tried and true in the States for many, many years. And a lot of practitioners ask me, so why is butyric acid so important? For those of you that aren't familiar with butyric acid, how I like to look at it, so butyrate is a short chain fatty acid that it's what butter is, short chain fatty acid. We love butter. And so when you open up a butyric CalMag, it actually smells like yummy butter. So that's a really interesting thing, because I've smelt a lot of other ones that are really not, they don't smell that way at all. But anyways, butyric acid or butyrate is basically how I look at that, as being the earth. Okay, so when you're gardening and you're digging up the earth in the spring and you see all this really nice, beautiful, rich soil, well, that's kind of like how I see butyric acid in the large intestine. It's the soil where the microbiome resides. So you can be taking a lot of probiotics of different kinds, and Saccharomyces boulardii and all that sort of thing. You can be taking all those different probiotics, but if you don't have a good foundation and a good butyrate foundation, if the soil is not a good soil, if the soil is sour, then you're not going to be able to replenish the microbiome quite
We're
as.
not going to put anything in it.
Sorry, I'm just going to. Some people that come in, they're not muted. I'm just going to mute away here until everybody's muted. Sorry. So anyway, that's what butyric acid is it's picture it as being the soil that where all of your microbiome, all your good bacteria lives. So it's a very super important. I think Joseph Mercola has been writing on butyric acid and butyrate for a few months now. And so if you are interested in reading any articles, you can just go to the Mercola site and have a look, and he's always really good with explaining things, very simply for people. So this is my protocol, and if anybody has any questions about that, of course, anything to do where I'm always looking at the connection between the gut brain connection. What I've seen primarily since the whole COVID thing and all of this material going into the body, there's been a huge disruption in the microbiome, and what it ends up doing is it creates a big disruption in the brain. So one of the main symptomology processes that I'm seeing and hearing from a lot of practitioners is Parkinson's-like symptoms that people are experiencing. So getting shaky, and to me, if we can work on reducing the parasitic load in patients, I do have a parasite protocol as well. Some people may need something a little bit stronger than what I'm recommending. For parasites, I'm obviously not allowed to make any recommendations for any medications, especially over-the-counter ones that are available, say, in other countries. But that doesn't mean that I don't avoid those necessarily. So for any sort of irritable bowel syndrome process, what the first thing we want to do is we want to rule out hypochlorhydria. And I could talk for hours on hydrochloric acid, but these are just the things that you want to rule out. You absolutely have to rule out parasitic infection and food allergies and any fiber deficiency. So those are the things that you always want to pay attention to when you're looking at settling down the bowels. So that's the one protocol. The second protocol that I put together is the Parkinson's protocol, and that one is here. So I mentioned at the very top the Neural Revive, just because it's very high. It's high in EPA and DHA, but it also has DPA. And for those of you who aren't familiar with DPA, it's not available in fish oil. It's only available DPA well, it is in fish oil, but very minute doses. Such a small little bit that it's not ever mentioned But DPA actually is an omega-3 fatty acid, and it goes in and potentiates the EPA and DHA and drives those two essential fatty acids right into the cell, into the site. So I like this product a lot for all neurological dysfunction and disease. And that's why it's at the top of my list there. Sorry, I'm still admitting people in here. So the mucanaparines, what this is I've had this product for a long time. It is a bit of a rogue product, so we can kind of start with that as a rogue product. It's a naturally occurring dopamine. So it's always something that I've recommended for all neurological dysfunction and inflammatory, especially brain inflammation in the brain when you're getting, ringing in the ears, or any sort of, headache or, head injuries, for example, or, tightness in the neck, that type of thing. I always recommend mucanaparines for that. Interestingly enough, I was looking up some articles on mucana, and it's potentiated through the use if ivermectin is added to that product. So that's a little clinical pearl for some of you that are familiar with that particular product. So it boosts it and makes it more bioavailable. It's amazing what you find out when you start looking. Of course, Biodemulsion Forte, which is 2,000 units per drop. It really does depend. I can only just put a protocol together as an umbrella approach. It really does depend on what the patient's serum OHG2 levels are. Personally, it's been my experience over the last, I don't know, 25, 30 years of looking at vitamin D levels in patients and in practitioners. And I would say that probably 92 to 95% of the population is low on vitamin D at the recommended dosages that we've all heard about. So again, I can only do a protocol as an umbrella approach, but I would always recommend, it's like $40 to get your vitamin D levels checked. So when you're at the doctor's and they're doing, a CBC test, just ask for just say, I'd like to do a vitamin D test, please. It's a blood test. Serum OHG2 test is blood, and just have that done. Those are one of the things that I don't even think twice about, even though it's not covered by OHIP. It's definitely worth doing because it's super important for any autoimmune dysfunction. And in my world, Parkinson's, ALS, MS, cancer, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, these are all autoimmune dysfunctions and diseases. And what I've clinically seen when I was in practice, because I've specialized in the identification and detoxification of toxic metals in humans, I saw a lot of different neurological dysfunctions for years. And what we did is they were diagnosed maybe with, Parkinson's or MS or ALS. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to identify what metals would be prevalent, the most prevalent in the body. And out of 15 to 17 toxic metals, what I saw in Parkinson's, the two most prevalent metals in patients with Parkinson's was really high mercury and really high copper, oxidized copper, not your essential nutrient copper, but oxidized copper. So this is super, super important to note. What I saw in MS patients, out of all of the metals that I tested for, I'd see high mercury and high aluminum. And that's in using hair tissue as well as fecal, because fecal doesn't necessarily test for aluminum because it's such a light metal. It doesn't test properly, but it does test in the hair tissue. And then in ALS, what I saw out of 15, 20 metals, testing for those is I would see out of the two most prevalent metals out of the 15 metals would be mercury and lead. So it's super important to make sure that you rule these out, because oftentimes when you rule out heavy metals toxicity, then you're going to see a lot of the symptomology clear up, because these particular metals do affect the microbiome in a really big way and cause a lot of minerals to be lost out of the microbiome, but also kill off the good bacteria in the microbiome itself. So in any format or in any protocol that you're doing, you absolutely always want to heal the gut. For sure, you want to heal the gut, you want to balance digestion. And when you heal the gut, like I use GI Resolve all the time for doing that. I add Gastrozyme to that. I do have a healing the gut protocol. If I do those two together, I can probably get the gut healed within a couple of week period of time. If there is any pathogenic organisms, then I add ADP in, which is anti-dysbiosis protocol or product. What that is a standardized emulsified sustained release form of oregano oil. That is my absolute bestseller. I'm still like just trying to get people muted here because I can hear things in the background. That's okay. I'm gonna make sure that everybody's muted. There we go. And of course, people that have any kind of neurological dysfunction or any kind of autoimmune disease is going to be low probably on their glutathione. So I've just mentioned Quicksilver glutathione here because I feel it's the absolute best product that I've ever used, bar none. It is a liposomal product and it's available on the DaVitaVite site. Neural Revive and Quicksilver products are both available on DaVitaVite.com. Magnesium, of course, I like the orotate form because it's high dose. So you're looking at 500 milligrams per capsule, which I really like that. So you're not only supporting, good cardiovascular integrity with magnesium orotate, but you're also working on neural repair. Lion's mane, I don't have lion's mane, but I can give you a site that does. There's many sites that have lion's mane. So lion's mane is just a fantastic mushroom. It not only helps with cognitive abilities and for learning and for remembering and memory to help to support memory loss, Alzheimer's, that type of thing. But it's also super important in nerve growth. It's actually, there's a nerve growth factor in lion's mane that's second to none. So I don't carry lion's mane, but I love that product. So I put that in there. And then of course your B vitamins, our Bio B100 is phosphorylated. So it's not grown in a yeast base. And I can tell you that anybody that I've ever met with any neurological or autoimmune dysfunction have a hard time taking B vitamins because most B vitamins are grown in a yeast culture, but Bio B100 is not. So that's why I like to use that. And what that does is that actually gives you the ability to not have to take such high doses of a B complex because they're all phosphorylated B vitamins. And then, of course, B12 2000, because for the neurological properties that B12 carries. Immuno-GG is for your gut-brain axis repair. Immuno-GG is a bovine colostrum. Oh, I put it down twice there. Sorry. I don't know why I did that. Maybe I just got excited about that product. Anyways, so you absolutely want to be thinking about in your mind all the time, whenever you're doing anything, any sort of work with reconnecting the neurotransmitters in the brain, you always want to be thinking about the gut-brain axis and repairing the gut-brain axis. That's super, super important. And then melatonin, of course, is neuroprotective. It's an antioxidant, but it's great for sleep, but it's also super neuroprotective. So when down here, I've noted, I wanted to note that it's really super important that patients consider an aggressive parasite protocol, such as IVM, ivermectin, and fenbendazole with methylene blue, follow with a low histamine diet. Of course, you want to downregulate any excess histamine production. So that's my new latest and greatest protocol. And again, for those of you that are new, because I do see some new practitioners coming in, where you're going to find that is under all departments. You must be logged in to view clinicians resources. Here it is right here. As soon as you go to all departments, I'm still admitting, just one sec. All departments, drop down menu, clinicians resources, and then protocols. And you'll see that there's probably, I don't know, maybe 40, 50 protocols there for you to look at and go through. And these protocols they're tried and true. Like I've been doing these protocols for many, many years. And for those of you who are new to biotics and you're not sure, maybe about a particular product or whatever, the name of a product, because, everybody has names of product for products, you can just click on product categories up here. And then you can go to different categories. So if you're going to brain support, for example, we were talking about brain, you can go anxiety, stress, emotional, and there's your products for anxiety, stress, and emotional. So your names come up for you right off the bat. This we will be forwarding right through into our new. So for those of you that came in a little bit late, we are updating our website. We're going on to WordPress and WooCommerce. So it'll be really exciting because you'll be able to see all this stuff a little easier and you'll be able to navigate the site a little bit easier. So there's all your product categories all down the side here. So glucose balancing, immune support, everything is all there for you. So you can also access it up here. So you can browse by category down here or up here. Okay, so couple of things too that I want to show you. Let me just see here. Where are we? Okay, so we're going to go into, I don't really think that I need to be signed in for this. We're going to go to some products. Oh, before I do that, I just wanted to also show you two things. I wanted to tell you that we moved all of the Vital Life homeopathic products onto the biotic side, because I do have a lot of practitioners that buy both of those products together hand in hand. So I got to sign in for that. Otherwise you won't see that. So if you just type in here, Vital Life or Vital, all of your Vital Life products come up. So it says here, down here, view all 45 items. Boom. You just click on that and there's all your products right there for you to see. If you aren't sure where they are, you can also click here, Vital Life products. And I don't think that works. We're trying, when we get the new site, it'll be much easier. So just go up here and type in Vital, and Vital Life products will all come up for you. So that's one thing I wanted to tell you. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention is that if you are not sure or you haven't signed up for the DaVitaVite site, you can just click on that. There's a little bar and there's your Neural Revive. That's our seal oil that we've had incredible success with, by the way, especially that for practitioners and doctors that are treating peripheral neuropathy. It's incredible. So peripheral neuropathy is really, really hard to control for a lot of patients, and especially if they are, hypoglycemic or diabetic. And so I've had people that within one bottle of using Neural Revive, they don't have any tingling in their feet anymore and any sharp pains in their feet. So it's a super, super important product for that. All your Quicksilver products are here as well. So there you go. They're all right there. I'm not logged in, so you don't see all the pricing. And my frankincense product, which is taking off in a big way now, because there's so much turbo cancer that we're seeing coming down the pipe. It's unbelievable. But do note that down here is the actual frankincense oil. This is your resin oil. Up here is your hydrosol. So these bottles are a little bit bigger and taller, and they're a spray bottle. And hydrosol is a direct, it's a byproduct of the actual frankincense. But my frankincense I brought in from Oman. So it's Boswellia sacra and has the highest alpha pinene content of any frankincense on the planet. And where you can see that, because we've done a C of A on this, a certificate of analysis, if you just click on the bottle, and then you'll see here 74.5% alpha pinene. And I've never found any other product that has that high of an alpha pinene content. Never, anywhere. I've looked and looked and looked. So I actually brought this product in for that reason. And then you can look down here and you can see all of your information on that product and what it is that and there's your attachments. So how frankincense affects cancer cells. The reason that I brought this product in was for that actual purpose. I am not allowed to tell you that it's therapeutic grade. I'm not allowed to tell you that it can be ingested because it's therapeutic grade. But especially for breast cancer, because I've seen just a huge, I'm just seeing a lot of breast cancer. So it can be used actually rubbing on externally. Again, I'm not allowed to tell you to take it internally, but what alpha pinene does is it actually it goes into the system and it actually tells the P53 gene, which is a cancer gene, to stop producing cancer. So I'm always very excited about it. I have it on my desk at all times. I love this product. There's also some videos here. This one video shows you, actually, this was my batch that was being made. So it shows you that we did not distill this batch any higher than 95 degrees, which over 100, then it degrades the product. So right down to the manufacturing process, I was like, down that rabbit hole pretty deep. And then this video here is a doctor who's describing all about the P53 gene and how it downregulates that gene to stop producing cancer cells in the body. So I'm not making any claims. I'm just telling you what is published, information that's published. Ha, ha. So there. Okay. So now, if anybody has any questions, if you do me a favor and please type them into the chat box, that would be totally awesome. I can't see them at this minute because we got all these things going, but I love it when you ask me questions, and I'm really happy to answer them. I'll give us about maybe 10 minutes before closing, and then we can do that. So there's a couple of products that I want to just bring to your attention, because this is supposed to be about rogue products, which it is. I mean, some of my rogue products are pretty exciting. So there's a product called Carbamide Plus, and this is kind of a bit of a rogue product. And when I started looking at this product, just because, I'm always looking at, okay, how can we best detoxify the pathways of elimination, the emunctories, right? So the liver, the kidney, the lymph, etc., but primarily the liver, kidney, lymph are the three big areas that I'm always looking at wanting to detoxify. And I find that, especially with the kidneys, that people have problems with nitrogen excretion. So this is a product. So if there's a lot of edema, if someone's holding on to a lot of water in the system, if they're feeling bloated with edema, so especially in the eyes, because there's a lot of times with glaucoma, there's pressure in the eyes. So this is a product. So try this for edema of glaucoma, urea plus, you can plus a multi-nutrient. So you'd want to look after, maybe a little bit extra of the, beta plus or beta TCP for biliary, but this is included. So you've got biliary and renal support in this product. So let's just look at I can't do it that way. Let's just look at what we've got in here. So we've got like marshmallow, celery, uva ursi, beet. So again, so that's for gallbladder. Plus we've got Bos taurus, so that's bovine. Sorry, somebody's just coming in. So we've got bovine kidney and carbamide. So that's why it's called Carbamide Plus. So that gives you an idea of some of the ingredients. But what is interesting, so this, I've highlighted this because people say, well, what about, what is the osmotic, what does that mean, osmotic? It's an osmotic diuretic. So what it is that's what it is, an osmotic diuretic that enhances the osmotic transfer of tissue fluid. So it supports the physiological elimination of water-soluble waste products. And promotes healthy fluid. So what is the osmotic transfer? So that's the movement of water across the semi-permeable membrane from an area of high water concentration to low water concentration. So low solute concentration to high solute concentration. So this is a pretty rogue product, but having said that, it's for people that we often think, okay, when we're going to detoxify the kidneys, we think, okay, Renal Plus, because that's a sort of a go-to product. But for some people, they just can't, they just keep building up fluids and building up fluids. So this would be your product of choice for that. And I think I said that it was neonatal kidney, but it's actually liver in there. So I'm sorry about that. I made a mistake. So we've got organic beef concentrate, rice bran, vegetable cultures. Anytime you see the word vegetable culture in any of our products, you're going to know that that's SOD, superoxide dismutase and catalase enzymes. That's just how we had to get it approved. So that's one of the things that sets Biotics apart over any other product line in North America and Europe, is we are one of the only companies that actually supply superoxide dismutase and catalase enzymes in most all of our products. So anywhere from 10 to 30 micrograms, actually up to 60 micrograms. And why is that important? That's super important because when you take a vitamin, mineral, or nutrient into your body, you have to digest that. And if you have to digest that, what you're going to do is you're going to oxidize. You're going to go through an oxidation reduction potential. So that means be a little bit more acidic because the body's shooting in HCl, hydrochloric acid, and then you're going to reduce because the enzymes are going to come in and cause a reduction in the acidity in the oxidation process. That's what digestion is, oxidation reduction potential. So when that happens, if you go into an oxidized state and there's not enough free electrons in your body, for example, and you have free radicals, obviously we all have free radicals, that's what's produced is reactive oxygen species as we go through an oxidative state for digestion, then if there's not enough free radicals, then the free radicals or the little Pac-Men are going to go in and they're going to look for an unpaired electron because that's what a free radical is, unpaired electron. And if it doesn't find one, it's going to find a blood cell because there's an unpaired electron in there. It's going to take a chunk out of that blood cell and that's free radical damage. That's a cell that's all, looks like it's had a chunk taken out of it. So if you're supplying superoxide dismutase and catalase enzymes as you are putting a product into your digestive tract, then you're going to be flooding your body with SOD and catalase. How great is that to be able to flood your body with free electrons so that you don't do any oxidative damage? So that's what sets Biotics apart from any other product line in North America and Europe. So that's one of the products I wanted to show you. The other one that came up in the last couple of weeks is liquid iodine. Liquid iodine. So there's liquid iodine, 75 mics and Forte, 150 mics. I just use the Forte. This is not so much a rogue product, but for some people it's pretty rogue because they go, okay, well, iodine, and they think of, the thyroid gland. When I think of, so first of all, a couple of things about iodine. So number one, the iodine that we used to use when we were kids, where you put some iodine on a cut, and then it was made your cut all sort of an orangey, yellowy orangey color. Well, that's the iodide molecule. That's two molecules to make up iodine. This particular product is crystal clear, and what is it? It's potassium iodide, and the difference is potassium iodide. So you've got iodine and iodide. So ours is potassium iodide. Just the iodide molecule. So there's no taste, there's no smell. How I see this product, yes, absolutely for thyroid dysfunction, because we've marked that here, thyroid dysfunction. Oh, I can't do that. Anxiety, mood, immune system, kidney, bladder, of course, lung, respiratory, but oral dental indications. So this product is an antimicrobial. So whenever you're thinking about, down regulating the microbial process in the body, you absolutely want to think about starting in the mouth. Because as a microscopist, all I can tell you is that when I was in practice, I was constantly whenever I saw a patient, I would take a toothpick and I'd have them just run along, their gum line, and I'd take that sample and I'd put it on a slide and I'd look at it under the microscope. And primarily what I'm looking for is spirochetic activity. But if you were to see what I see, you'd probably never kiss anybody again. It's pretty incredible. to see what goes on inside the mouth. So you always want to make sure that you start with that. So there's two products that I actually use for mouthwash is liquid iodine, and you only need a few drops. It's not like a mouthwash that you're going to buy from the store and you're taking like, a couple of ounces and swishing it around. You just need a couple of drops. You just swish it around and rub it around inside your mouth, and then you can swallow it for that sake, because you'll have killed with liquid iodine. And also I use aqueous zinc, because that's a huge antimicrobial. So you can switch back and forth. Some people are more, they're more susceptible to want to do zinc, or some people are more susceptible, they want to do iodine. It depends on the individual. What I use this product a lot for is for any kind of cysts in the body. So ovarian cysts, my first thought process, the first go-to is liquid iodine forte, and to take it internally. So 15 to 30 drops twice a day. Let's see what it says here. To help support thyroid ovary function, there you go, from T4 to T3 production. So that conversion is really super important for skin cracks, so that if you have people that have like cracks on the bottom of their feet or their hands, they get cracking all the time, that's a definite signal and sign that they're low on iodine. Any kind of mucal issue inside the body. So for any sinus infections, that type of thing, liquid iodine would be indicated for that. Menopausal hot flashes, ovarian dysfunction, PCOS, benign uterine and breast cysts, fibroids, infertility. You can use it topically for acne and boils, again, because it is an antimicrobial, it's antibacterial, right? And for seasonal emotional changes. So I just want you to know that these are like, a lot of doctors use this product, but some people don't even think about iodine, and it's a super important one to think about. So those are those two. I'm just checking them off so I don't repeat myself next time I do one. Glutarase. So what is glutarase? Well, I'm going to show you. This product is used primarily. So what have we got in here? We got lots of goodies and treats. The okra I love, marshmallow, catalase. So SOD and catalase are in there. Very low dose, but not necessarily needed in high doses. There's your superoxide dismutase. This product was designed basically, so methylmethionine sulfate chloride. So this product was designed for patients that, for example, if they're going out for dinner and they actually are very they're gluten intolerant. So this would be a good product because lots of restaurants, they say, oh, this product is, or this dish is gluten-free, but they're using lots of gluten products in the back. So some people are highly sensitive to gluten. So this product does not substitute for eating gluten. It's just to be taken if there's a high gluten intolerance or high sensitivity. So it's designed to support digestion in case gluten is ingested. So that's your glutarase product. Another product that a lot of people don't think of unless, all of a sudden there's an issue are the eyes. The eyes. So Optic Plus is for our eyes, and it is a little bit of a rogue product. It's just to be thinking about really good eye health and to support eye health. So you've got bilberry in there, you've got some lutein in there, some citrus bioflavonoids, zinc in case there's any infection, especially for people that are as they get older and they're constantly, their eyes are watering and leaking all the time. So this is really good eye support. Lots of beta carotene, vitamin A, ascorbic acid, vitamin E, thiamine, and riboflavin. So this one is really indicated to consider to support good healthy eyes. If there's any cataract activity starting or any macular degeneration, floaters, eye strain, or night blindness. So if there was macular degeneration, what I would do is I would probably add at least 1,000 milligrams of taurine with this product. So this product doesn't have any taurine in it. So I would probably, if there's a serious macular degeneration, I would use Optic Plus and taurine together. So the next product how are we doing? Q2, we're pretty good. So I've got a few more products here. Amino acid quicksorb. I love this product. I remember, so what this is this is 9 amino acids that actually stabilize your blood sugar levels within about 20 seconds. So for people that start to, their blood sugar starts to, and they can feel it and they can tell, and then they get all funny and crabby and they get all, wound up and so on. You can take this, it's just a little tiny bottle like their vitamin D bottle. They can put it in their pocket, they can put it in their purse, and they can take it anywhere with them. And it's a liquid. So I would do like maybe about a 3-second squirt into the mouth, and it will instantly stabilize your blood sugar levels. So for people that have problems with like hypoglycemic, or even those that crave a lot of sugar after dinner, that type of thing. So arginine, glycine, lysine, proline, histidine, serine, threonine, and valine are your amino acids. So consideration of stabilizing blood glucose with the need to quickly increase blood glucose levels, especially if there's diabetic hypoglycemia or any reactive hypoglycemia, or even patients that are in a diabetic state. They're amino acids. So they're very, very, very safe to take. Fatigue, drowsiness, poor concentration for a quick energy hit. If you're like 3 o'clock in the afternoon and instead of a cup of tea with caffeine in it, you can do a quick squirt of amino acid quicksorb and it'll just perk you right up instantly. I remember years ago, I was doing a training and we were in a big circle. There was about 15 practitioners in this big circle. And so I had an amino acid quicksorb and I just passed it around and everybody just took a few drops or a squirter. And then it went around, and then this one girl, she said, "Can I have a little bit more?" And I said, "Sure." So we passed it back to her, and then it went around, came back to me, and then I'm still talking about it. She said, "Can I have a little bit more?" Sure. So she did that 4 times and then she was fine. She didn't ask for any more. But what I find with amino acid quicksorb is that you'll take it and it tastes like sweet tarts. There's a little bit of a lemony, a little zing. There's no sugar, but it kind of tastes like sweet tarts. That's all I can attribute it to. But what I can say about amino acid quicksorb is that in doing genomic hair tissue mineral analysis testing, I see a lot of low amino acids in people. And it's like, wow. I mean, I love aminos and I love their properties, but I've never thought that so many people would be low in amino acids, because people eat meat and so on and, take stuff, but they are. And so with amino acid quicksorb, what I find is that somebody will take a lot of it until they don't need it anymore, because the body just regulates when you get those amino acids into you, and the body just goes, okay, I'm fine now. I don't need it. So it's a really great product for regulating blood sugar disturbances. All righty, where are we? 750. I think I'm going to have to, I'll just finish off with B Vital. I'll just go to there because I want to know if anybody has any questions. If I close down and there's no questions, then I'll keep going till 8 o'clock. But I sure hope there's some questions, because I love answering questions. Anyway, so what is B Vital? Well, B Vital is Peruvian maca and deer antler combined together. And so what this product does is it augments testosterone levels naturally. So let me just show you the label. There you go. Peruvian, it's elk antler and maca, 50 and 750. So it's just a great product. What I use this product a lot for, well, for any libido issues in men, but in women for hot flashes, because as a woman ages, not only does her estradiol levels start to go down, so you've got a molecule of estrogen, you've got estradiol, estrone, and estrogen, so your estradiol levels start to go down, but so does testosterone. So to augment hot flashes at night or night sweats, it's a great product to boost testosterone levels naturally in women. So what have we got here? Consider augmenting testosterone, men and women, hot flashes, libido, I said that, provides energy, an energy boost used for bodybuilding and to increase muscle strength, provides overall general sense of well-being. So the response I get from a lot of my practitioners is when they put a patient on this product, they just feel better overall. So that's super important to note. Okay, I'm going to just close my screen and I am going to, let's see, chat. Oh, so we have seven going on. Okay, so good. So John Bender, thank you, John, for that. He says, I'm in favor of the soft gels. For those of you that signed up a little bit later on and didn't hear that information, I just want to reiterate, we have Neural Revive, which is a seal oil. The seal oil is second to none in terms of essential fatty acids because it carries EPA, DHA, and DPA. And for those of you who aren't familiar with DPA, it's an essential fatty acid, omega-3 fatty acid that actually drives the DHA and the DHA and EPA into the site. So it's primarily utilized a lot for peripheral neuropathy in diabetic patients, but it's also used. I use it for any neurological dysfunction or disorder, and I use myself. I do a couple of tablespoons a day. They say a teaspoon a day is fine, but I just really love the product, and so I don't really think that you can overdose on that. What ends up happening is you end up having a really great bowel movement. So that's your side effect. It's a really great bowel movement. So thank you, John, for that. So what we're doing is we're looking at the potential of, instead of having it in the liquid form, which is what we have now, this is totally liquid, is to bring it in soft gels. So the soft gels are teeny weeny. They're very small. They're 500 milligrams per. They're only about that big. And so we just want your feedback on that. We want to know if you'd feel more compliant in taking it if it was in a soft gel form. So Renata asks, would frankincense be good to use in all kinds of cancers or mainly breast? What information is out there? So that's a really good question. There's a lot of information about frankincense oil. There's a lot of published studies. I think the biggest published study that is I would say most of the published studies are on breast cancer. So I have actually posted on the website under the frankincense bottle. If you go under description and then you go under videos and things, I've made a whole list. The studies that I put in there are all published studies. So for different kinds of cancers, like there's a lot of there's a study I put in there for uterine cancer, I believe, as well. So you just have to Google it. And if you Google anything like this, I just want to say it's super important if you're going to Google to go to duckduckgo.com, duck, D-U-C-K, go.com. You'll get a lot more published information on DuckDuckGo than you will on Google, because Google is totally like, bot. That's all I'm going to say about that. So go to DuckDuckGo, you'll get lots more information. So it's all there, and you can go to my website and see that. Dr. Wendy is on basic Otter plan with 30-minute meeting to record longer meetings, upgrade to pro. I don't know what that means. Sorry. I don't know about that. I'm not sure what that means. Can you explain what you mean by rogue products for those of us that are new here? Yes. Okay. So if you go to my website and you see, so the difference between like a bestseller and a rogue product would be rogue products are products that are, you know, not too many people know about them, or they're not on the bestseller list, right? For example, let me just share my screen again one more time here. Where are we? Biotics. Okay. So here is like, if we go to bestsellers, I click on bestsellers and here's all my bestsellers. Super simple, defined. I should have a rogue product link. So, okay, for example, like organic 15. I don't know how many people are going to know about that product. A few docs. So what this is, I know about this product because I've been in the business of identifying and detoxifying toxic metals. This is I would consider Organic 15 a rogue product. This is a methyl donor and acceptor product. So for patients that can't methylate properly, this product I use all the time. And most patients that have heavy metals toxicity cannot methylate properly. So consider this product for metals detox. For greater oxygen utilization. So for people that are short breathers, like they don't take a deep breath in, they're breathing very shallow. This is a good product for shallow breathers. So how many doctors ask me for a product for shallow breathers? Not many. So that's a rogue product. Adjunct therapy for free radical pathology. So if you're a microscopist and you see a lot of free radicals when you're doing a blood test, this would be a product for that. Muscular dysfunction, asthma, neuromuscular diseases, i.e. MSMG, myasthenia gravis, MS, and endurance sports activities, cardiac stress, upper respiratory infection, and overall metabolic support. So that's a rogue, what I consider a rogue product. So hope that answers your question. Does B Vital increase DHEA as well as testosterone? I've not seen any studies on that, to be honest with you, because DHEA and the cascade. So you've got estrogen, pregnenolone, progesterone, DHEA, estrogen, progesterone. I don't think so. But it's possible, but I've never seen a published study on that, as I haven't. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to, well, maybe I should say it this way. On the Davitavite site, we've got a product called DH Adrenal, which is our DHEA. And it's on the Biotics site now. I put it back over. So under Vital Life products, DH Adrenal is what you want to look at if you're looking to increase DHEA levels. I'm wondering why taurine is for macular degeneration. Good question. Well, taurine is an amino acid, and I think that a lot of low amino acids are responsible for a lot of issues in the body. But taurine is actually published that people with macular degeneration have low taurine. And, is that looked at? Is that ever looked at? From a medical standpoint? I don't think so, but you can find lots of studies on that. What is the difference between the frankincense, hydrosol, and oil? Good question. So the frankincense itself is a resin product. So it's actually a resin oil. There are no carriers in this oil. So if you put some of that oil on your hand and you rub it and you breathe it in, and then you look at your hands, there's no oil residue left on your hands whatsoever. It's a resin oil. So there's no grapeseed, there's no grapeseed extract, nothing, no olive oil, nothing to carry that oil, because it's just the resin oil. The hydrosol, however, is what's left over when the resin, the gum resin, is put into its vat, and then it goes through a distillation process, and out drops the resin oil. So that's your resin. then what's left over is the hydrosol. So the hydrosol is used, you can just spray it on your face. I use it as a deodorant. You can actually spray it anywhere on the body without disturbing any of the mucous membranes. So it's really great for that. It's not as strong as the oil because it's a combination. It's the byproduct of the distillation process of the oil. It's what's left over. So it's resin and water, but it's never it won't separate because it's a hydrosol. It's already in its hydrosol format. So it's one that I use it all the time just for spraying on my face and keeping myself beautiful. Keeping everything tight. I missed the first half hour. Is the session recorded? Yes, it is. And Justin, yes, my dad would love the soft gel. He's not taking now because he forgets it in the fridge. Okay, thank you. I just want to hear from everybody because we're thinking about bringing the soft gels in. So it's really nice to hear how everybody feels about that. Okay, Renata, for digestive healing, you mentioned GI Resolve and Gastrozyme and oil of oregano if pathogens suspected. Would you take them at the same time or introduce oil of oregano a bit later? We do add Saccharomyces boulardii. Do we add it to the mix, Saccharomyces boulardii? Yes. So yes and yes. Let me just share my screen with you again. And I want to just make sure that I'm logged in here because I want to show you the Healing the Gut protocol. If we're going to do this, we might as well do it properly. Healing the gut. So here's what I recommend. So there's your Gastrozyme. There's your GI Resolve. And then I've said if gut dysbiosis is present. So what I recommend that you do is start with the Gastrozyme and the GI Resolve. How do you do that? You just take a tablespoon of GI Resolve and about 4 ounces of water, and then just take your 3 tabs of Gastrozyme, pop them in your mouth, and drink down your GI Resolve with your Gastrozyme. That way they're all together. Everything's working synergistically. I would do that for about 2 weeks and then add the ADP in after the 2 weeks, because here's the deal. And I'm super, it's so important to make sure that you look after any dysbiotics, so fungus, parasites, viruses, and so on, and bacteria. But what you want to do, if you put a patient on ADP right off the bat and their gut isn't healed, what's going to happen? The patient's going to feel terrible because they're going to kill off a lot of microbial waste. So you're going to have like little bits of dead fungus, basically. You have to eliminate that. The body has to process that, and you got to take it out through the biliary pathway. So they're going to have a Herxheimer reaction if you do ADP right off the bat. So I always recommend, let's heal the gut first a little bit, for a couple of weeks. They start to feel better, then they're going to want to come and see you again because you didn't make them feel like caca. And then add the ADP in. Now you can get, fairly aggressive with ADP if you wish. The highest dose that I've ever done with ADP, personally, that's the way I have to say it, is 6 tablets TID, so 3 times a day. Empty, I do empty, but some people would prefer a little bit of food. But you want to work up to that. So for somebody that's highly fungal, you absolutely would not want to put them on a dose like that. That's in an acute situation. If it's a chronic low-grade fungal, a bacterial or viral infection, I would still work it up slowly. If there's H. pylori present, and I can just tell you, some things stick in my mind, and I never forget these things. But Ravi Devgan, he was one of my favorite doctors. He was a functional medicine doctor. He's passed now, bless his heart. But when he was alive, we used to sit and chat for hours and hours because he's functional medicine MD, right? And, it's like they're few and far between. Anyway, we chat for a long time. And he said to me, because he's from India, he said, 80% of the population has H. pylori and doesn't even know it. It's like, oh, really? Seriously? Like this was like 30 years ago. And I'm looking at him going, okay, so maybe I better get checked. So I went and got checked, and sure enough, I was H. pylori positive. I didn't even have any symptoms. at that time. It was like 30 years ago, right? But I can tell you that H. pylori, a lot of people are asymptomatic with that. And guess what? They don't even know anything's going on in their stomach until they're diagnosed with stomach cancer. So that's what H. pylori produces. It's a spirochete, drives itself right into the lining of the gut wall and produces, that's, the body tries to push that stuff out. And so the cells start exacerbating. That's why you end up with cancer, because the body is not happy, right? So that's another rogue product. I mean, it's used by some doctors. That's all they order from me is BioHPF, because that's what they're focused on. But other, practitioners might not think about that. So that's the Healing the Gut protocol. And so, yes, to answer your question, I would do, Renata, I would definitely start with the gastrozyme and the GI Resolve first for a couple of weeks. And then once you've done that and you're doing the ADP, and by the way, one thing that I want to tell everybody that's super important, because I finally found a published study, because I searched this stuff high and low until the cows come home. I finally found a published study, because everybody thinks, oh, you take too much oregano oil and oh my gosh, you're going to disrupt the microbiome and, oops, sorry, sorry. But anyway, ADP does not do that. ADP cracks biofilms. So it actually goes in and cracks the biofilm. So all these things that are hiding, here's a biofilm, right? And you got your pathogenic organisms right here under the biofilms, and they're hiding under there. And that's why antibiotics do not get in. They can't crack that, right? So that's what ADP does, but it also does not disturb the microbiome. And it's on my website, and it's a published study, and that's really, really good news. So you do not have to flip out and go absolutely crazy thinking, oh my God, if I do too much ADP, I'm going to disturb the microbiome. That's not the case. How great is that? And it's published, and it's on my ADP page for those of you who want to know that. So, I mean, I have had people that have been taking ADP for years. I've been taking ADP off and on for years. I love that product. So absolutely, Saccharomyces boulardii. So Biodoff, either Biodoff 7 Plus or Biodoff 3GI. 3GI is more for people that are a little bit more lactose intolerant, and Saccharomyces. So either one, and Saccharomyces boulardii. Why is that important? Because Saccharomyces boulardii helps to reestablish, and it will get rid of the bad yeast and help to reestablish the microbiome by doing so. So Saccharomyces boulardii, I always recommend that along with your favorite probiotic. Any product for calcitosis, calcium deposits in the joint? Yeah. Okay, so here's what I want to say about that. I'll say this about that. So here is a calcium receptor right here. And your calcium is going in, But if there's toxic metals bound to that calcium receptor, like this, where's the calcium going to go? It's going to go right. And where is it going to lodge? Joints, elbows, knees, shoulders, and so on. So yes, if there's any form of arthritic activity, so then there's a combination. So here's the other thing that happens is sulfur, which is in the joints, gets eaten up by too much overabundance of calcium that's lodged in the joints. So calcium's antagonistic to sulfur at that point, because now you've got this calcium that's supposed to be going into a receptor site, and it's depositing bits of calcium all in the joints and the bones. And then the body tries to heal that and causes an inflammatory response. And then bacteria goes, oh, hey, here's a great place to live. And it ends up in the joints. And one of its food sources is calcium. Go figure, because it's a nutrient, it's a mineral. It's a nutrient. I mean, look at how much calcium we need. So now you've got an arthritic process going on. So now you got a bacterial infection. There's always a bacterial / pathogenic component to arthritis, always, because it's an inflammatory response, and there's always going to be that. But the first thing I would do is I would do a toxic metals test. We have them available on the website. A fecal test, so doctor's data. So you do 6 kilozyme 6 kilozyme twice a day for 7 days, and then you run a doctor's data toxic metal fecal test. So probably in the fall, I'll do another whole thing on how to do that properly with heavy metals and so on. But it is on my website, and the actual share. Hang on. Here we go. Down here, toxic metals. So this is all the protocols. And I do have it on my website under webinars as well. So toxic metal detoxification protocol for arthritis, any inflammatory process in the body. There's your kilozyme, 6 BID. I say 2 to 6 because some people are super sensitive. They don't want to dump metals too fast, so you don't have to bolus dose, but I like to do 6 tabs twice a day. And then you're going to look after dumping. So this is for the detox itself. You're going to look after dumping phase 1, phase 2, liver detox, renal plus. So for your kidneys, vitamin C, because it chelates copper, and copper is the most prevalent metal that I see. The most toxic metal I see is oxidized copper, by the way, and colon plus is your binder. But before doing that, I suggest that you start with a provocative challenge. What does that mean? That means that you buy the fecal kit, which is on our website. I'll show you where it is. You do 6 kilozyme twice a day for 7 days, and then you proceed with the doctor's data toxic metal fecal test. And you order the test, and we can put the kilozyme right in the box and send it to your patient. We always recommend that you send it off on a Monday because you want it a few days for it to get there. It goes FedEx and it goes free shipping. Where do you get those kits? So if you type in on your, sorry, type in fecal. How about that? Fecal. Ta-da! There's your fecal kit. So it's $275 is your price, and that's what we charge. I mean, that's what my doctors don't make any money on this. And what does it give you? Antimony, arsenic, beryllium, bismuth, cadmium, cesium, copper, palladium, lead, manganese, mercury, nickel, platinum, thallium, tungsten, uranium. All of them. So I recommend that and a hair tissue. And if you want me to walk you through the process or help you, if you want to start this yourself, I will always do that, support all my practitioners. So hair, if you type in hair, here's your hair tissue mineral analysis right here. This is 125. And it's about a 35-page report of all your nutrients that you're low on. This is minerals only. My other test that I have, you'd have to be here in person, but this one I can do remotely. And it's about a 35-page. It tells me if a patient's in a sympathetic, parasympathetic dominance pattern with an indication of high or low thyroid and adrenal function. So I really like it for that reason. I've used this test for 30 years. And I will, again, if you want to order this for yourself and or a fecal kit for yourself, I will walk you through the process so that you learn how to do this properly, so that when you're teaching or you're working with a patient on this, that you know exactly what you're doing. Super, super important. So what I always talk about is healing the gut first, balancing digestion, and then doing a metals detox. Always heal the gut first, always balance digestion after next, and then do a metals detox. Super important in that order. That's why I have all those protocols so that you can go and do step by step. If you go boom right into a metals detox, you're going to have problems. So yeah, so that's what I recommend for calcitosis. I know that's a sort of hard way of getting around it, but Cecilia, the other thing that you might want to consider too, and there's a product out there, it's not my product, but I love it, and it's called AlgaCal, algacal.com. For those of you who are not familiar with the product, it's a fantastic product, and they do use strontium. It's a bone builder pack, so 2 AlgaCal, 2 strontium, 2 AlgaCal, and I can guarantee you, they actually guarantee on their website, if you follow their protocol, that you're guaranteed to increase your bone mass. How great is that? So I increased my bone mass 34% in 1 year using that product. And I don't even carry it, but I love it. So that's just ending that. And for biofilms, supporting gut. So for biofilms, again, ADP cracks biofilms. It's just the best biofilm cracker. You can also, we have in the Vital Life product, we have it's Candida product. I have to sign in for that. You won't see it. Oh, I'm signed in. So Vital, oops, sorry. Vital, view all 45 items. Candida. I have to put it in alphabetical order. I hate that. This is all stuff that I'm going to clean up so that I don't have to do this on my new website. Click too many times. I don't like clicking. Okay, where was I? Candida. A, B, C. Oh, there's your DH adrenal. So for those that wanted to know where DHEA, here it is here. DH adrenal. So what is this? Adrenal gland. That's how we get it approved. Candida. Oh, I thought this was in alphabetical order. Did I push that? I thought I clicked that. ABC, Candida 1. Here we go. So this one is really good for cracking biofilms as well. And what's in it? Oh, pretty big. Just gotta make that smaller. I can't. Okay, let me just clean it. There we go. Okay, there's what's in it. There's your homeopathic ingredients. So your Candida albicans 12x, 12 to 200 K. Chrysanthemum, vaccinum, wow, and caffeine, caffeinum. You know, I'm not a big, I mean, I'm not a homeopath, but Stephen Eamon is. And if you want to learn more about going and doing a deep dive into homeopath, I just love his products as they work. But if you want to do a deep dive, oh, I didn't mean to stop sharing my screen, sorry. And you want to learn about what he says about homeopathic products, because his stuff, he rocks, I'll tell you. Let me just do this again. What you're going to do is you're going to go to all departments, clinicians resources, webinars, and look at that. There's a toxic metals training that I put out in September last year, right? Here's a quick product training. Here's the information on Neuro Revive, the seal oil, like I'm talking chemical biochemistry information. That's by Dr. Evan Lewis. And so Biotics and Vital Life series, here's series 1, 2, there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then there's part 1, 2, 3, and 4 down here. So we did this twice, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if you want to learn about what Stephen Eamon has to say about homeopathic products and all the ingredients that are in them and so on, then just have a look at these 4 webinars. He'll blow your mind. He's really good at expressing stuff that I can't express because I'm not a homeopath, but I love his products. Let's just have a quick look here. Don't do well with taking liquids, so gels. Thank you, George. I appreciate that. Where is the parasite protocol? Oh, did I not have it? Protocols. No. No, it's not on there. Okay, so I'm going to, when we're finished, I'll go and find it and put it on there for you. But so ADP is basically what I use for, so what ADP is, for those of you who are new, it's a full spectrum antimicrobial. So parasites, bacteria, fungus, and viruses, it just wipes everything clean. You can go nuts and go into all kinds of, different things, but I use ADP as my main source. And then in the homeopathic products, you can use the Vital Life parasites. So let's just do that and look at that one first. 1 sec. Vital Life. So those two together, oh, because I log out. I didn't log out. Sorry. So I think it's called parasites. Oh. HI, intercell, kidney, heart, element. There it is. P sites. This is the product that we use for parasites, and there's what's in it. The other thing that I would highly recommend that you do is if you're going to be doing any kind of detoxifying for parasites, I don't know, I'm a big ivermectin gal because like I spend a lot of time in Mexico and I love ivermectin because it works so well. For those of you who want to know where to get it, I can send you a link, but it's going to go when we leave. So I'll send you that in one sec. I don't know why it does that. I just hate that when it does that. So if you're going to do any kind of a detox of parasites or fungal, you always want to use systemic DX. Why is that? I'm going to just show you. So this is the homeopathic product of choice because it's everything in one bottle. So it's going to open up all your pathways of elimination, all your munctries. Supraadrenal gland, carbovegetalis, cardius, different cardius, gallium, alpha-ketogluteric acid, lipoic acid, berberis, colchicum, kidney, liver, lymph, mesenchyme, tartaxicum, tonsil. Do you know how many, like there's tonsils are such a a focal site of infection, lycopodium, nux vomica, thymus, thyroid. Like this product rocks. So for any form of detoxification that you're going to be doing in your practice, you absolutely want to use this product. And so when I do a protocol and put a protocol together, you'll see at the bottom of my protocols, there's a list of Vital Life products. So for example, healing the gut. Back to that one. Down here, look, Vital Life, Relief G12, Liver, Systemic DX. So those are the products that pair nicely with this particular protocol. So that's super, super important, right? Okay. I have to stop the share so I can look at the questions. Can you have too much oxidized copper? Yes. And be simultaneously low in copper? Yes. So the question is, can you have too much copper and be simultaneously low in copper? The answer is an unequivocal yes. How do I see that? How do I know that? Because I'll do a metals provocative challenge for toxic metals. And then, so I see metals copper right off the chart. So copper should be below, I think 50. I'll see it at, 130 to 260. It's like, what? And then I'll do a hair tissue mineral analysis on that particular patient or client. And their copper is this high in the hair. Whoa. So that's why I like to see both a hair tissue and a fecal test together, right? Because there's a big difference. Like any nutrient can be oxidized. I've seen zinc right off the chart. And I go, are you taking zinc? Yes. What kind of zinc are you taking? Oh, I'm taking a zinc oxide. Well, of course you're going to be oxidized. You're taking a zinc oxide. So, you know what I mean? So they're not taking a gluconate or, hepatitrate or something like that. So any heavy metals responsible for bone spurs? Yeah, I think so. I think heavy metals is your bare bones foundation to if you can't get rid of the heavy metals out of the body, then there's always going to be some kind of a calcification of some kind, because again, there you go. You've got you've got your calcium receptor site with a metal bound to that. So that calcium, and we eat lots, dairy and, for people anyway, there's lots of calcium in foods, right? It's also like vibrates on a hertz level. But yes, I think that it's very responsible for anything to do with bone. The other thing with bone spurs is you always want to be making sure that you test your vitamin D levels, right? Because, vitamin D, vitamin K, and boron are the three, and calcium, but vitamin D, K, and boron are the three main nutrients that are going to help you to absorb, your vitamin D properly. For vitamin D, you need your vitamin K and your boron, and of course your calcium and magnesium. So your magnesium levels have to be in range. This is why I like a hair tissue mineral analysis. I want to see if you're in a sympathetic, parasympathetic dominance pattern. So high calcium, magnesium, low sodium, potassium, or vice versa, right? And especially as women go into their golden years, we will always want to make sure that there's proper amounts of calcium. A, has to be proper levels of calcium, and B, that the calcium is being absorbed properly. Super, super important. Deb, DH adrenal, how much DHA? I can't tell you. It's not a capsule, it's a homeopathic ingredient. DH adrenal, and I can't tell you. I don't know. Stephen Eman could answer that, but it's homeopathic, so I can't. It's not by milligram. It's not in a capsule. It's in a homeopathic. Toxic metals training adequate for interpreting the metals test? Yes. Thanks, you're the best. You're the best too, John. What binders do you use in Parasite Cleanse? Colon Plus. Colon Plus. I use that all the time. You can use charcoal. Charcoal's fine. I'm okay with that too. I don't have charcoal, but I'm okay with that. But you can use charcoal and Colon Plus. It depends on what you want to bind and how much of it. Like, honestly, I've never really resonated really a lot with charcoal. I mean, I use a charcoal toothpaste, but I don't really resonate taking charcoal internally. But Colon Plus, I love that product. Take it a lot. Message direct, Michelle Galani. It says your message was redirected. So that is it. Is there any more questions? I went way over. Half an hour over. Anyway, no other questions? Anybody? Ivermectin, question mark. Great question. Ivermectin, fenbendazole, methylene blue. So I don't know about any of you. Oh, I was going to give you a protocol. Where was it? Oh, I was going to show you where to buy it. Right. Hang on. Okay, here it goes. I'm putting it in there. Ta-da. There you go. That's where to get it in Canada, for those of you who know anything about ivermectin and fenbendazole. And I think methylene blue's in there, and there's a whole bunch of growth factor injectables for those of you that know how to do that. So what do I know about ivermectin? Fenbendazole, yeah, it's pretty easy to get fenbendazole. Actually, you can just, as long as you look at the C of A, there's, just do a Google search. It's just make sure you look at the C of A. Because let me say this about that. You know how they go on and on about, products that are for animals only, and oh my God, don't take that. That's a veterinary product. Well, veterinary products are way cleaner than a lot of human products. They're just really clean. So, does ivermectin work? Not connecting for me. Does ivermectin? Yeah, ivermectin is a very strong antiparasitic. Works great. So I follow Dr. William Makis. I don't know if those of you who know him, he's on Substack, and he's an oncologist. And I can tell you, like, the guy's just logged right on to ivermectin, fenbendazole. And he is, the link is not working. The ivermectin link? Let me look. Works for me. It's healthfreedom.is. Let me just do this. Hang on. Let me just go in and copy that, and I'll paste it here. Let me just see. Paste. There it is. Send. Try that. So Makis is he's an MD oncologist, and he's like I would highly recommend that you just follow him. I think I don't know how much it is a year. It's cheap for the information that he gives. You get all your protocols, all your milligram dosages. The guy rocks. He's logged on to ivermectin and fenbendazole, and he's like the guy's, he's unbelievable, like stage 4 pancreatic cancer, like unbelievable. All his numbers pre and post, like, and these people within 3 to 6 months, like you don't get through pancreatic cancer. People don't get through that. He's getting people through and living through pancreatic cancer. He's getting people through stage 4 cancers within 3 to 6 months. They're completely, who am I talking about? Makis. MD on Substack. There you go. You got to go into Substack. That's where he goes, because he's not doing this like on any YouTube channel. I can tell you that. He'd be shut down in a heartbeat. Oh yeah, he is. He's fantastic. He's one of my favorite docs that I follow. So, but I could read to you, like, if you want me to read it, I'll read it, but I gotta go soon. So that's always what she said. Hang on. Makis. Okay. All right. 52-year-old Arizona patient with stage 4 rectal cancer responds dramatically after 3 months. It's just one of them. Just a minute. Let me just find the rest of them. Makis. Go in and tell. All right. 54-year-old Illinois woman with stage 4 breast cancer to bones has excellent response. "36-year-old California woman with multifocal grade 4 astrocytoma is now improving after 2 months." 57-year-old airline pilot diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer with brain metastases, which shrunk dramatically after 2.5 months. 46-year-old USA man with stage 4 pancreatic cancer sees a dramatic improvement after 2 months. This is all on ivermectin and fenbendazole. It goes on and on. My take. 53-year-old USA man, stage 4 NSCLC lung cancer metastasized to lung, lymph nodes, adrenals, almost complete resolution after 1 month. What's the dose? Ivermectin 1.5 milligrams per kilogram per day, mebendazole 1,000 milligrams per day. So it's all there, right? So it just goes on and on. 15. So no, I don't want to tell you that one. That one's terrible. That's a 15-year-old who died suddenly. 62-year-old man with head and neck squamous cell carcinoma and tonsil HPV progressing to lung metastasis, cancer-free after 2.5 months. Anyway, that gives you an idea of what his work is. I found it hard to find fenben here. You find fenbendazole on Amazon with C of A's. .ca. Yeah, I did. Let me see. But you have to make sure you look at a C of A for it. Let me see. They seem to have scaled it back. Let me see. Is there fenbendazole on the site? I don't know. Just let me look on the Health Freedom site. Mushrooms, peptides, healing, anti-cancer, anti-parasitic. It's just loading. I don't know. Menbendazole's on there. Yeah, menbendazole's on there. On the healthfreedom.is site, there's menbendazole, 100 tablets. If you want menbend, like they're very similar. It's add to cart. 100 tablets, $200. But it looks like they're out there. They're out on that one. Let's see. Let me just look at this one. Okay, how about this? I can copy the link. Oh, I don't think that's it. One sec. That's weird. That work? Yeah. 444 milligrams, 99% purity. That worked. Anyway, do your research. I'm not really one to promote medications, but some people really need a good hit, you know? Others are okay. They can get through quite easily. Depends. Here's my take on the whole thing. If you're full of metals, you're going to be full of parasites and fungus, period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, and viruses. And viruses that don't clear, you're going to have those things if there's metals toxicity, especially copper, because copper, that's what they feed off of. They feed off of oxidized copper and other things. Mercury, they feed off mercury, all kinds of different metals. That's their food source. Like our food source are minerals. The bugs' food sources are toxic metals. So you've got to clear the metals to be able to start with bringing a patient back to, a balanced state of homeostasis. That's just what has to happen. And so there's lots of different ways of doing that, but my trainings show that information. So I'm going to head out and say bye to everybody and say thank you so much for joining my webinar. That was great. It was really great to see everybody and see your smiling face, Lucia. See your smiling face, Sharon. Great to see everybody. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. And I will be announcing pretty soon for the fall. We're going to do 2 more in the fall, 2 more webinars. And so we'll keep in touch with that and have a wonderful evening, and we'll talk and chat real soon. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to email me or text me at any time. Thank you so much and have a wonderful evening. God bless.